All right, so most of us grow up watching sitcoms, right? Like Beverly Hillbillies, the rich dude who struck oil and then moved to Beverly Hills. And they had their little deal happening there where it was they were rich, but poor people, and it was the whole fun stuff, right? It was like they would have a problem, and in 30 minutes they would solve it, right? You know? And there was like, say, Family Ties, Growing Pains, Full House, Facts of Life. All these are ringing a bell. Married with Children, that kind of thing. My week felt more like Green Acres, but that's what it is, right? It just seemed every week there was something, and we tuned in to watch them finish it. And they finished it with a little bit of humor, and it always ended at the end of the week, unless you got those very unwanted words at the bottom of the screen. To be continued. Unlike streaming where you can just go next, next, next. You had to wait till next week. And if you miss next week, sorry, Chuck, you ain't coming back, right? So in the spirit of the Beverly Hillbillies, I hope you will all deal with me in this. Here we go. Let me tell you a story about a man named Job. Blessed, righteous farmer, lots of sheep and lots of land. Then one day, devil made a deal with God, said, I'll make him turn his eyes from you. Dish you, man. Walk away, not speak again. Well, the next thing you know, Job's ox and donkeys fled. His sheep and servants all were found dead. The house with his family was celebrating that, collapsed and fell, crushing everyone to death. Then boils plagued Job, blisters too. Seemed he was doomed. Yet he worshiped on, right? Got me? Oh, come on, you guys. You're a rough crowd. I don't get a clap or nothing. That's like, that took a while. Oh, the people, yeah. The front pew. Okay. So anyway, as I said earlier, we're going to look at the first 5 chapters of Job. And when I read Bible stories, a lot of times I have to sit back and I have to look at it and I have to say, yeah, but what that's got to do with me? What does that have to do with my life? What does that have to do with what I'm going on, right? So in Job, we're going to start in the first chapter with verse 6. One day the angels came to present themselves to the Lord, and Satan also came with them. And the Lord said to Satan, where have you come from? Satan answered the Lord, from roaming through the earth, going back and forth on it. Then the Lord said to Satan, have you considered my servant Job? There is no one on earth like him. He is blameless and upright, a man who fears God and shuns evil. Does Job fear God for nothing? Satan replied. Have you not put a hedge around him and his household and everything he has? You have blessed the work of his hands so that his flock and herds are spread throughout the land. But now stretch your hand and strike everything he has, and he will surely curse you to your face. The Lord said to Satan, very well then, everything he has in your power, but on the man himself, do not lay a finger. So right there, Satan's saying, well, of course, Job's not got anything to worry about. You've got him like encased in this little shell that nobody can touch. I mean, why is he even going to, he's just got blessings upon glory upon glory, all of that. So why has he got anything to worry about? So, you ever feel like it's all crashing in? Like no matter what, it just all goes upside down and the hits just keep coming and coming. So here comes Job in verses 14 and 15. The oxen were plowing and the donkeys were grazing. The Sabeans attacked and made off with them. They put the servants to the sword, and I am the only one who has escaped to tell you. But wait, there's more. 16. While he was still speaking, another messenger came and said, the fire of God fell from heaven and burned up the sheep and the servants, and I am the only one who has escaped to tell you. But wait, there's more. 17. While he was still speaking, another messenger came and said, the Chaldeans formed 3 raiding parties, swept down on your camels and made off with them. They put the servants to the sword, and I am the only one who has escaped to tell you. But wait, there's more. While he was still speaking, yet another messenger came and said, your sons and daughters were feasting and drinking wine at the oldest brother's house, when suddenly a mighty wind swept in from the desert, struck the 4 corners of the house, and it collapsed on them, and they are all dead. And I am the only one who has escaped to tell you. So how did Job react? He fell to the ground worshiping God and said a phrase you may be familiar with. The Lord giveth, and the Lord taketh away. Ever have someone say that to you? You're having a rough time, things going crazy stupid, and someone says, well, you know, the Lord giveth, the Lord taketh away. You just want to punch them, right? You just want to be like, you don't have a clue right now, you know? Now, I didn't say, but wait, there's more. Yet, it's coming. Because you see, the devil still feel like he could make Job turn from God. So now we got to bounce to chapter 2. In chapter 2, on another day, the angels came to present themselves before the Lord. And Satan also came with them to present himself before him. And the Lord said to Satan, where have you come from? Satan answered, from roaming throughout the earth, going back and forth on it. Then the Lord said to Satan, have you considered my servant Job? Does all this sound familiar? There is no one on earth like him. He is blameless and upright, a man who fears God and shuns evil. And he still maintains his integrity, though you enticed me against him to ruin him without any reason. Skin for skin, Satan replied. A man will give all he has for his own life. But now stretch out your hand and strike his flesh and bones, and he will surely curse you to your face. The Lord said to Satan, very well then, he is in your hands, but you must spare his life. So now comes round 2, right? I mean, what more can Satan do to Job, right? How else can he hurt this man? So Satan went out from the presence of the Lord and afflicted Job with painful sores from the soles of his feet to the crown of his head. Then Job took a piece of broken pottery and scraped himself with it as he sat among the ashes. Illness. Not only has he been made a disgrace in the community by losing everything. Like the man really has no wealth anymore. He has, burned up land, no cattle, no sheep. But now he has boils. And as other Bible stories have said, there's always that question when somebody's afflicted, well, how have they wronged God? What did they do to deserve this? But in the case of Job, he still worships and praises God. Most of the times, sermons will end with the wife's response to the response, which is to curse God and to curse God and die, right? And then in verse 10, he'd say, you are talking foolish, woman. Shall we accept good from God and not trouble? But there is more to the story. Several chapters more. He has like 3 friends that come up and they have a discussion about everything he's going through, right? But we're only going to talk about one friend because I don't want to be here all day. If you guys want to, I can pull a Bible out and we can, check out the other 2 as well. But, Is this the one? Just the one? Okay, we got it. So there's this, in chapter 3, Job responds to his situation. And if you want to take a chance to read the whole thing, it's written poetically, the way it's written. But I want to look, he's talking about cursing the way he died, the day he was born. He keeps asking why he isn't dead yet. Woe is me. All that kind of stuff, right? But he finishes the chapter with, For sighing has become my daily food. My groans pour out like water. What I feared has come upon me. What I dreaded has happened to me. I have no peace, no quietness. I have no rest, but only turmoil. He's starting to feel the weight of everything that is happening to him. His strength is wavering. But now we hit the 15-minute part of that sitcom. What I mean is, help to solve the issue is on the way. See, in chapter 4 and chapter 5, a friend by the name of Eliphaz steps in to help his friend deal with the situation. He reminds Job of the good he has done. In chapter 4, verse 3, think how you have instructed many. You have strengthened feeble hands. Your words supported those who stumbled. You have strengthened faltering knees. And then he lies down a line of wisdom in 8. As I have observed, those who plow evil and those who seal trouble reap it. At the breath of God they perish. At the blast of his anger they are no more. Now Job, being a righteous man, he hasn't sown seeds of evil or bad will. So it can't be a punishment, right? Then in chapter 5, he talks of seeing someone that has faced atrocities like Job and comes up with these words of wisdom. But if I were you, I would appeal to God. I would lay my cause before him. He performed wonders that cannot be fathomed, miracles that cannot be counted. He provides rain for the earth. He sends water on the countryside. The lowly he sets high, and those who mourn are lifted to safety. He thwarts the plans of the crafty so that their hands achieve no success. He catches the wise in their craftiness, and the schemes of the wily are swept away. Darkness comes upon them in the daytime. At noon they grope as in the light. He saves the needy from the sword in the mouth. He saves them from the clutches of the powerful. So the poor have hope, and injustice shuts its mouth. See, a friend stepped in Job's time of need. Actually, like I said before, there are 3 friends, but we don't want to go through that, right? They try to offer comfort and wisdom in the time of great grief. So what's that got to do with us, right? Maybe you have a story that you can relate, but I'm going to tell you mine. I was on vacation last week. It was supposed to be a week full of fishing, right? My idea of a week full of fishing, 90% water, 10% shore. My actual week, and I'm being generous, and she can argue later, 75% shore, 25% water. That's kind of a messed up plan, people. I'm losing some water here, right? So anyway, there's stuff that happened, and I want to talk about, I'm not going to say we didn't have fun. We had a blast, okay? We had several adventures. We had several mishaps. We caught a few fish. But I want to talk to you guys about the last one. See, on the last day, we go to take the boat out. And it was the one we were supposed to be on most of the week. We get it fueled up, and we're headed to the bay. And we can see the bay. We are almost to the bay. Like, it's right there. And smoke starts coming out from underneath the control panel. So engines go off, life jackets go on. My buddy picks up the 2-ways, yelling SOS. She calls up for the mechanic. We're sitting there. Well, while we were fueled up, there was another boat there. And I'll remember the lady's name because it was Renee, and that's also one of the women that we talked to a lot during the week. And anyway, Renee and her family come up on their boat. And they're like, hey, you need some help? And so, they would go through the conversation of what's happening. And they bring their boat over, and they tie up to the boat. And we're sitting there, and the 2 guys jump on, and they're checking it out to see what's going on. They grab the fire extinguisher, and we don't see no flames or nothing, but they're just trying to make sure that everything stays the way it is. And they keep asking my buddy, they keep saying, hey, you want us to tow you back? She's like, no, 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 no. You know, you guys are out here going to have fun. You go ahead. And while we're here doing all this stuff, I mean, the people on the boat are offering us drinks. Like, you need drinks, you need snacks, you know, what do you need? We're here to help you. And laughing and cutting up. And, you know, we're talking about how it's one of the maiden voyages and that. No, you got to toast the maiden voyage and all that, right? So they pull us off the rocks, and I had gotten the anchor out. You know, we had one of the anchors we just throw over so we wouldn't get back in the rocks, and I gotten it out. And they're like, hey, you want us to tow you back? And my buddy had contacted Renee up at the fuel place and said, oh, they're going to come with the other boat, and they're going to tow us back. And he's like, that's all right. We'll tow you back. We'll tow you till they catch up, and then, you know. And she's like, no, really, I don't want to interrupt what you're doing. And they're like, no. And the whole time they're just cutting up and joking. And we got to meet a guy named Adam, and he told us all about, you know, living around here and living in Iowa and all of that stuff. And they did eventually end up giving us a drink on the way out, okay? And I think the best part of it was as they were towing us back, they took a selfie. I don't know if online can see the selfie. Here, let me turn it a little bit. Maybe you'll get to see the selfie. There's our selfie. And as you can see, there's not a lot of sad faces on any of them boats, right? We probably, all in all, together with them for maybe 20 minutes. I might have been longer, but I'm thinking it was about 20 minutes. But they made that experience a whole lot more enjoyable than it could have been. They took time from their day on the water to help folks in need. Instead of us sitting there in disappointment and anguish, they were the Eliphaz of the journey. They were Job's friend that came up and offered a hand and tried to help him out. Who's your Eliphaz? When have you had someone that just happens to pop up when you need them just at the right time? With a laugh, an encouraging word, just that little boost up that you need. It could be a boat full of strangers or a friend you've known for years. Just remember, in times like Job, there's an Eliphaz. And sometimes you have to be the Eliphaz for others that are in times of Job. We're all in it together. Every one of us is in it together. We all got our own junk we go through. We all got our own stuff we deal with. But we got to remember, always approach it with at least a joke. May God add wisdom to these words. Amen. Now we go to this part.